Obviously, this game tends to be played in a phone booth. I mean, you all know each other so well. The offenses are similar. You understand how to play, and it makes it a real, street fight, if you will.
It's going to be a physical game. They're a physical team. We're a physical team. They run the ball. We run the ball. They possess the ball. We possess the ball. It's going to be a short game, just like it was last year. They had 8 possessions. We had 7. They ran 50 plays. We ran 48.
Yeah.
So it's a really quick game. The only reason the game lasts longer is because of commercials, but it's a really short game.
Well, and on that note, you really need to be on point on both sides of the ball, but talk offensively, because some of the little things that have set you back this year, the penalties, the negative play, you can't have those this game.
No, we got to be on point. We just got to be consistent, Wags. We haven't played a consistent game for the entirety of the game yet, and this could be it, though. You know what I mean? Because we've seen when we played well, we've moved the ball against everybody. Central Florida, Notre Dame. And so we know we can move the ball.
Yes.
We know we can play well, but we have to do it. And what better game to do it than this game?
Wouldn't it be fair to say that this is also the type of game that suits your defense? I mean, it's the American Athletic Conference. You're constantly being spread out and having to play 5 receiver sets. This is tough, hard-nosed.
Well, and we're familiar with it. You know what I mean? Now, you still got to play. They're really good. They know what they're doing. They've been successful all year, really efficient on offense. But, yes, it's, we play this all the time in the spring. So hopefully there'll be some familiarity, but you still got to do it at game time.
I was going to ask you about Zach Abey. His sophomore year, his first career start comes against Army, and now here he has come full circle, and he's going to be starting against Army again. Can you just talk about that, and do you feel confident with Zach being under center?
Very confident, Zach. You know what I mean? And he's also won some academy games too, in the Air Force, and so, he's played well, the last couple of games, and, he's healthy, and we're excited to go into this game with Zach as our quarterback.
And in this type of game, his toughness is probably a plus, right?
It's going to be a tough game. Hopkins is a tough runner too, and so is Zach. They both can throw the football. But like I said, we're excited about going into this big rivalry game, our biggest rivalry game with Zach as our quarterback.
If Bennett Mooring's put in the same situation he was last year, you feel confident? I think he's a mentally tough young man, isn't he?
He'll make it. He'll make it. I have no doubt he'll make it.
Go ahead.
Coach, you've had a couple of weeks off now. How have you worked to prepare the team for it? And what's the feeling of the team now? You've had your ups and downs during the season, but is it being the Army-Navy game, is that important?
This one game changes everything. Everything is focused on this game. We got amnesia about what happened in the past as far as the season, and because really none of it matters. We got to get ready for this game, and I like the preparation we've had for these 2 weeks. We've got a couple more days, and we've got to continue to keep working.
And the feeling of the team, do they know that it is the biggest game of the season, that they have to win this? Is that what they're all out to do?
These guys are way smarter than me. They know what time it is. It's Army, and so. If you have to come and have guys walk through fire to get them fired up about this game, or have all the hoopla or flyovers, then we're in trouble. It's Army. That's all you need to say.
So past history, either in past seasons or for this season, have little to do with the game. This is the game.
Always have been. Even when we had won 14 straight, none of it mattered and none of the last 2 years matter. People always talk about streaks. Streaks don't matter. It's about this Saturday and who plays well then, and that's really all that matters.
So what are you looking for Army to present to you for the game? What kind of strategy?
Just what they've done. Tough, hard-nosed teams and run the ball, possess the football, really sound on defense, sound special teams, well-coached team, and it's going to be a hard-fought game.
And you're prepared for all of that? I'm sure.
Getting closer, but so far so good.
You'll peak on Saturday, right?
That's the goal.
That's the goal. Now, getting to the philosophical question, there must be one person in the whole world who's never heard of the Army-Navy game. How would you describe to them what the Army-Navy game is, and what is the feeling of the game and the participants, and what does it mean overall to the academies?
Well, I think this game is a great symbolism of our country. 2 great institutions playing for the purity of the game. And it represents a lot of people in our country just because it's the United States Naval Academy, United States Military Academy. It's not a school or a state school. It represents institutions that represent our country. So it's a game that I think is America's game, and it's an exciting game.
And would you say that these players are going to take this on to the future because they may be serving together in various services?
No doubt. I mean, we have great respect for them, but we also want to win this game in the worst way. But we also recognize after that they'll be serving together to protect our freedoms.
What Army does defensively, I mean, they know your scheme. I think you've said it before. There's no option factor, right?
No option factor. They're very well coached. They play hard. They make sure that if they're doing things in the secondary or up front, they always cover themselves on the back end. So just have to be smart, execute, and again, it's not going to be any big plays. Just try to take what they give you, and again, just grind it. That's our plan.
I think at times they've tried to guess and jump guys and send guys. I don't want to say stunts, but basically guess the count, and they try to crash and cause disruption, haven't they?
They're not just going to sit back and let you just operate. They're going to make you. To me, it's just like I've been saying, it's like press basketball. The Arkansas 40 minutes of getting after you. They're gonna press you. They're gonna let you come down the court, just dribbling the ball. They're gonna make you have to do some things. So just have to be ready. Again, make sure our eyes are right. Got our eyes in the right spot. Again, that we're disciplined. Don't jump offside. Don't get them to make a jump offside. So again, just got to play, deal with their pressure, block them, and just execute.
As long as I can remember now, this game's kind of been played in a phone booth. There's not a lot of perimeter element. Why is that? It's just because both teams are so adept at containing that perimeter action and forcing it inside?
Well, both teams understand what the other's trying to do, where you want to get the ball to. And again, if a defense doesn't want the ball to get outside, they can make it stay inside. But we have to find a way to get the ball outside.
Right.
So again, it just comes down to a chess match. Again, just trying to find ways to get the ball on perimeter. And at the same time, if they run the ball inside, run it inside. But we got to be physical. Got to get those 2 and 3 yards. And again, getting 3rd and 4th and short, and then convert, and then go from there. But again, we know what they're going to do. They know what we're going to do. It just comes down to again who executes the best, takes care of the football, and get after it.
Because the yards are so tough to come by, how important are big plays? Explosive plays.
I mean, they're great. I love to have a lot of explosive plays. But again, it's just a matter of some kids got to step up and make big plays. Obviously, it comes down to that. Again, you might be covered one-on-one. You got to go up and get it.
Right.
Or you got a one-on-one match. You got to make that guy miss and go. You got to run through some people. So it just comes down to, again, our players making plays against their defensive guys. And again, one-on-one. Again, try to find some ways to get big plays, manufacture big plays. We have a good plan. Just got to execute it, and again, play smart. And again, as always, don't turn the football over.
Yeah, you can't have that, or penalties.
Just take care of the football, no penalties, and again, just get the play started and get to execute.
The other thing I was going to ask you about was Zach. I mean, it was interesting. He made his first career start in this game.
Yes.
First player ever to make his first career start as a quarterback against Army, and he was shaky in the first half, but then played well the second half. Now he's kind of come full circle. Here he is again. Can you talk about that?
He's come a long way. And we watched that game. And it's kind of it's kind of weird just how fast time goes by. Again, he's grown up. He's matured, and he understands that this is his last game. So he's ready to go. He's had 2 weeks of practice. He's focused, and I'm going to go out there and give everything he has.
You feel confident with it, Zach, under center?
I feel very confident. Again, just got to make sure that he and Garrett both are ready to play, because again, you never know what can happen.
Right.
That's always been our deal, to make sure both guys are ready. So I'm confident in that, both ready to play. But again, for him, I mean, his first start was in this game. It's going to be his last one. So obviously, I want him to go out on a good note. I'm going to do the best I can to help him do that by calling a great game, calling a smart game, playing to his strengths and to the other guy's strength, and again, just giving his kids a chance to win the football game. That's my goal.
And this is kind of his game. It tends to be, like we said, an inside game, and that's his strength between the tackles. So I kind of feel like this suits him a little bit.
He's a very physical runner, and obviously, again, you got to take advantage of that. At the same time, we got to do some things differently, and again, try to get the ball to our best players, to our other guys, and our fast kids, and let them make plays. At the same time, with our fullback and Zach, we got to pound them. We got to pound the ball inside and get the ball outside. So it's going to be an inside-outside game, like it always is, and hopefully we can find a big play in there somewhere and find a way to get a W.
Do you think it's important against Tulane? You showed you can pass effectively. Do you think that was important coming in this game, because now Army has to respect that element? They can't cheat up a level.
I think going to any game, if you can throw play action, obviously you want to get them to back up, you know. But again, they're who they are. You know,
Right. They're not going to. Right.
You know, they're not going to back off. They're going to come get you, you know, and they're going to bring pressure. Their main deal is if you can get it off before we get there, you might have something. But if we sack you, now you're in second and 20 or something like that.
Right,
you know,
right.
so just a matter of again protecting, and if it's there, we got to be able to throw and catch it.
Let's go back 2 years ago. Your first career start, Army-Navy game in Baltimore. What do you remember about that day?
A lot of nerves. I was obviously really nervous. You know, I think I've learned a lot over the past 2 years, and you know, I'm definitely a lot better off as a quarterback.
Well, so in the first half of the game, you made a couple throws that you probably would wish you had back. But then in the second half, you played much better. Did it just take that half of experience in the whole thing to get you to take a deep breath? You went in the locker room and came, because you were a completely different guy in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, the pace of the game is just so different, especially from high school level to college level. And so when you don't have a lot of reps in games, you know, it's hard to find your niche and just slow the game down. So I think, yeah, probably a lot of nerves got to me in the first half, and then second half started slowing things down. Just, you know, I started realizing, hey, this is just a football game, something I've been doing since I was 6 years old. So just slowing the game down and, you know, just trusting my ability, and, you know, I just played the second half.
So last year you did not play that much at all in the game. I think you might have got in for a couple snaps. I mean, was that kind of an odd situation, being as here you were, you started the Army-Navy game as a sophomore, but then as a junior you really did not have much of a role?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You know, we had a different game plan going in last year with Malcolm, and you know, my role was a short yardage guy. So I mean, we almost pulled it out last year. So you know, I just had to respect, you know, what the coaches thought. So.
How much more does that put on this game, though? Because here it is, your senior year, and you are back as the starting quarterback with much, obviously, increased role, a very important role. I mean, how much are you looking forward to this?
Yeah, I mean, it is what you make it. You know, at the end of the day, it's just a game. You know, you don't want to overhype anything. But that being said, I am looking forward to this a lot. You know, just the way this whole season's been. You know, obviously, no one wants to have the record like we have. But you know, with this game, it can change everything around. So, you know, we're all excited to play this game, and you know, I can't wait for Saturday.
Does it mean a lot to you that you may have a chance as a quarterback to lead your team to victory over Army and snap this losing streak that started when you started 2 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, that means everything to me. You know, but like I said, you just got to play the game. You know, don't make the game any bigger than what it is, and you just got to play the game, and you know, I think we'll be all right.
Do you think this is the type of game that suits you? I mean, it's always a rock'em sock'em type game. It tends to be played between the tackles. Yards are hard to come by. It just seems like, to me, this is your style of game.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what the records are of each team when you go out there. You know, everyone's going to play like it's their last game, like it's a Super Bowl kind of game, you know, on both sides. So both sides are going to come out firing. And, yeah, like you said, it's going to be a kind of grinded out kind of game. You know, the guys up front, you know, I think they're going to do a good job. And, you know, I'm just going to follow them, follow Garge. And, you know, I think that's what I'll do.
Can you talk about the test of wills that comes? They got Nactigal and Christensen, the two inside linebackers. They're going to probably try to lay some hits on you that intimidate you, but you got to try to do the same to them. I mean, it's a battle of wills because there's some serious hitting goes on in this game. You know that.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, that's what, you know, a running quarterback, that's kind of what you get. And, you know, I'm ready for it. I mean, you know, my body feels really healthy right now. So, you know, we've been getting in the training room. Jim's done a good job with, you know, getting everybody healthy, and we've had some physical practices this last couple of weeks. So, you know, I think we'll be ready for it.
Questions?
Yeah, this is a different game. You have to admit to that. It's the Army-Navy. What is the feeling of the team, and how does the team look at the game and what you're going to be getting out of it?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a different feeling. You know, this is our Super Bowl. This is their Super Bowl. This is everything. I mean, we just got to go and make sure – we got to make sure first and foremost we don't make it anything bigger than what it is. You know, we just got to play football. But, you know, to come out with a win on Saturday, it can definitely change the season around. And
yeah, would that make your season to say you beat Army, even no matter what you did during the regular season?
Without a doubt. I mean, I think, you know, always in the beginning of our season, our goal is to beat Army. And, you know, without a doubt, it doesn't matter what happened prior to the season. You know, we could be undefeated going into this game. But if we lose to Army, you know, it's a bad season. We have a bad taste in our mouth. So
now, assuming that there's one person in the world who's never seen the Army-Navy game or know nothing about it, can you explain to me what's the feeling, but why is the game important? Why is the important between Navy players, the Army players, and how it relates to everything else?
There's a lot of pride that goes into this game. You know, most of us are a bunch of under recruited, not 5-star athletes, and you know, when we get on the field, we play like we are 5-star athletes. You know, just by our sheer will of just wanting to beat the other team so bad, and I think it shows on the field in Army Navy game. And I feel like just knowing that afterwards we don't have an NFL contract or anything. We're going to go serve our country, and I think that's just you just play with the name on your chest. So.
Well, how about that? You may be serving with somebody in the Army, on the Army team in the future. How does that make you draw it together once the game is over?
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, we'll be enemies on the field, but afterwards we're all fighting the same fight.